This is going to be the Holy Governance Risk Compliance GRC Cybersecurity Career Roadmap that you need to break into cybersecurity.
A mission to help 1 million people into cybersecurity.
Also, I made this video very detailed so that this can help somebody who is a complete beginner break into GRC in 120 days. There's a lot of information that's going to help you in this video based on my research and also based on my experience in GRC. I have over 5 years working in GRC from the finance industry and also right now working in consulting. I have led teams through implementing ISMS, and ISMS is Information Security Management System. I have led the team in passing external audits with flying colors. So this is coming from someone who is experienced and can guide you in how you can get a job in GRC and what your future would look like if you start as a GRC specialist. I do want to say that this video might be longer than our usual video. You can use the timestamps below in the description to jump to any part of the video that it's more relevant to you. And just make myself as small as possible, and hopefully you can still see me because this is about you, it's not about me. Okay, I thought that the first step would be just going over like GRC itself, so we can take a look at a couple maps here on GRC. So the first map we can look at here is the map of cybersecurity domains. So when people say GRC, governance, risk, compliance, there's so many segments, like there's so many domains in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is so broad, and which is something that I love, is that no matter where your passion lies, you can definitely find something in cybersecurity that you love, right? And this is just one of those maps. So right here on this map, we can see cybersecurity domains right here, right? And it just zoomed in for me. So I'm gonna probably just zoom in so you can see. And right here we could see like enterprise risk management, what that entails. So that entails risk treatment, risk acceptance, the whole bunch. And we can see governance, what that entails. So that entails laws and regulations. I know that you may not understand the bunch of what I'm speaking about right now, but as we go into the video, it would definitely make sense. I just want you to take a look at this. So right here, we can also see like third-party risk, which is also involved in, as a GRC specialist, very much involved with what we do. And there's also something that we call fourth-party risk. So, okay, we are assessing the risk of our vendor. How do we also assess the risk of our vendor's supplier, right? Because it's a whole chain of suppliers. So that's something else that's also coming up in cybersecurity GRC. And so that's the first map I want to show you. The second map I want to show you right here is this map called the career map for cybersecurity. So it shows the different domains in cybersecurity. So right here, we just looked at the domains, and this map goes into detail of, for each domain, where do you start and where do you end? Like, where can you start as a beginner, and where do you see yourself 10 years, 20 years from now, 5 years from now, and maybe even 2 years from now? So I believe that most of you would, being that you're watching this video, you would want to start here, right? So this is probably going to be like, we're going to look at what we call like beginner. So here it would be like IT, assurance, or GRC. So what is assurance? And I think it's great that I clarify that. And assurance is someone like an auditor. So you assure people that they're secure. That's what it simply means. You provide them assurance that you're secure as an auditor. You audit their systems, you audit their processes to make sure that it's up to standard. Whichever standard that you're following, it could be ISO, it could be SOC 2, and a whole bunch of them, right? And then from there, where can we move up to? So if we move up to another level, right? So we can see that from an IT, assurance, or GRC, you can go into analyst, compliance, and audit, right? And then you can move on to consultant, GRC. So I'm currently a consultant, GRC consultant, and from there you can move up to like the head of GRC. That's what you often see as a GRC manager, a GRC lead, someone who is in charge of implementing governance, risk, compliance initiatives, making sure that planning those processes, enforcing them with the C-level executives. And so if we move up on here in level 10, we'll be looking at the CISO, we'll be looking at CISO, SVP, Senior Vice President, risk, cybersecurity. So this is another map right here. So let's look at another map again, because I love maps. I do believe that this provides us better visualization of what we're looking at. So right here, we have another map right here. Now, this is a certification roadmap. Where do you start with your first certification, and where do you end with your certifications? So as a beginner who's just starting out in GRC, my recommendation would be to starting with CompTIA Security Plus. It also has the price of the exam, which is around $345. And I definitely believe that in cybersecurity, even if you're in GRC, it's so important to have a technical understanding of cybersecurity as a whole, right? So if we move up here, so let's say you start off with Security Plus or GSEC, and in the beginner level, this beginner phase, you literally only need to pick one set. You don't have to get a bunch of sets, especially when you're just starting out. So if you pick one, I would say Security Plus or GSEC, which I've made videos on those certifications and you can check them out. So in your intermediate level, if you really want to grow quickly, we could see right here, we have like some project management certifications, because as a GRC specialist, you would manage projects a lot. So we could look at PMP certifications. We could also look at ISO certifications. And then if we move up here to the expert level, we can then see certifications like CISM, which is related to GRC. We can also see PMP right here, which is great. I would definitely say to take a PMP in your intermediate level for sure. Even the CISM could be your intermediate level. It could also be expert level. CISSP is also a very good certificate. So we can see the CISSP right here. It's a great certificate for expert level. Let's move on to another map. You can tell that I have a thing for maps. So if we start right here as a security trainee, sort of like a GRC internship position, and then we can move on to like a risk compliance specialist or IT auditor, and then move on to like senior IT auditor, and then move on to risk compliance lead. And then from there, move on to information security, a manager, or information security like a CISO or ed. So that's what that's going to look like. And I have a map also. Again, this map it just shows you the kind of companies that are heavy on risk and compliance. So these companies, if you're applying at these companies, it will increase your chances of landing a job, because GRC, I would say GRC is sort of the hiring for GRC at companies that aren't risk and compliance focused companies. You may not get a lot of opportunities there. As a matter of fact, you may be the first GRC specialist. So you can't be the first hire at a company that isn't risk and compliance heavy if you're a beginner, because you don't have the experience that you're looking for, right? So usually at companies that are in risk and compliance heavy, they want to bring somebody who already has the experience that can help them build a GRC program, right? So, but as a beginner, I would definitely advise that you take a screenshot of this and apply for jobs at those companies listed here. So companies like the very GRC focused Proof Points, KnowBe4 to be like a security awareness trainer. And then if you want to look into like GRC itself as a whole, we look at RSA, ACHA. These are companies that create metric systems. These are GRC risk and compliance companies that create systems to help companies implement risk and compliance within their organizations. And we can see Red Seal, we could see Nortic, Rapid7. So I would definitely say you stand a better chance in getting a company as a beginner or an internship, Guidewire, at these companies, right? So take a screenshot, and when you're applying to jobs, look for these companies and apply. We look at IT auditor, which is like GRC, right? And then we look at the skills and certifications required for IT auditor. It tells us from beginner level to like expert level where you can start. So right here, we can see for certifications, we can start with Security Plus, and then we can go to like GRC if we wanted. Just pick one or the other. But GRC has a assurance certification for GRC. And then we can also see CISM, which is more like expert level or intermediate level. We could see CIPP, which is a privacy certification. And then we can also see Certified Information Systems Auditor, which I would say as a beginner, taking the certification will be very beneficial for you. And we can see CISSP. You can take a CISSP as a beginner, although I wouldn't advise it. CISSP is very heavy. It's a very tricky exam. It's not an easy exam. A lot of professionals in the field don't even have it because of how tricky it is. So it tells us the kind of job titles you could get. It also tells us the top skills required for a GRC. This is a platform where you could look at ICI learning, and you could have learning on how to conduct risk assessments, internal audit school, NIST framework, and a whole bunch of training. So this is another good platform you want to check out. And then there's also OSEG. They offer several GRC certifications. They're geared towards GRC. So this is another organization you want to check out. They have auditor, GRC professional, PMP, and a whole lot of them. I don't want your cookies. I have enough cookies. Yeah. Okay. So right here we have ISC Square. They have free intro-level cybersecurity training, and this is a certified in cybersecurity. If you haven't taken it, definitely take it. It's completely free. However, you have to pay, I think you'd pay $50 for a membership, which for me, it really is a very small fee, because with a membership, you get a lot of benefits. You can network with individuals within the field, which could eventually land you your first cybersecurity opportunity, your first GRC opportunity. So you definitely want to take advantage of it. And then we can look at Asaka. Asaka, they have several GRC related certifications. They have the CISA. They also do have training events, so you could take their training, cybersecurity training. They have various resources. 100K is average salary for a GRC specialist, and that's pretty good for entry level if you ask me. There's also 750,000 job openings. So, I mean, the jobs are there, but we have to do a little bit of work to get those jobs. So what is GRC? Well, organizations rely on GRC framework to operate successfully, right? GRC helps organizations implement policies, procedures. It helps them manage their risk. It helps them adhere to, it helps them abide by standards, laws, regulations within their industry, so that they can avoid fines, they can avoid financial damage, financial risk, reputational damage, so that it also helps them understand and implement processes that help them to manage people's confidentiality, integrity, and availability of whether it's people or whether it's systems. So that is why GRC is important. So how much can you make as a GRC specialist? Well, as a GRC specialist, your average salary, as you already saw from IBM, it could start at 100K. Well, your medium salary could go around 200K a year, and executive salary would be around over 250 to 55 to 800, depending on your years of experience. So for 100K, this could be for someone with complete entry level with no prior experience, or someone who has transferable experience into GRC. How does GRC relate to cybersecurity? So cybersecurity is like being a digital superhero. You're protecting computer systems from bad guys. GRC is about making sure that the companies follow the rules and manage risk well. So it's a bit of knowing what to do, and GRC is kind of a rule book to guide and help everybody do what they're supposed to do. And then as a GRC, you're also like a police. You're pretty much chasing other people around to do their job in terms of security, in terms of implementing security. So the product team wants to buy a software, are they implementing the software using security practices? Are they collecting, for example, in terms of privacy, are they taking information from the clients, taking all of the information they need to do the job that they need to do? Or are they taking more information? So that's where GRC comes in. What are the duties you have as a cybersecurity GRC professional? I already stated some, your duties will be implementing policies, writing out policies, policing people, getting them to do what they need to do. And other duties would be also conducting risk assessments on the assets you have, conducting threat assessments, control assessments. A lot of this may not make sense right now, but that's okay, because I'm going to share with you some resources you could use to get more training on GRC. So what are the primary GRC cybersecurity skills? Well, communication is a big one. You also would need to do a lot of research. You'll also be really good at conducting research, knowing the right control owners, who to go to, who to speak to get something done. It's a very important skill to have. Another thing is being able to keep up with what's happening in the field, what's changing, what are the new threat vectors you need to be aware of. Really staying on top of the news. What are the new laws, new regulations? For example, imagine being a GRC specialist and GDPR or privacy law came up. How does that apply to your organization? So when new laws come up, you want to think about, okay, how would this law apply to my organization? And then what are some top GRC positions you would see? So you would see like IT auditor, you would see security manager, policy analyst, GRC security engineer, CISO, and a whole lot of them. So right here, we could see quickly, and you can take a screenshot of this. These are some titles you can use to expand your chances of landing a job faster. What type of companies would hire a GRC? So we saw the map of companies that hire predominantly for GRC right here. So this map really helps you understand where you could focus on to get your first GRC job. And so some of your best bets would be like large organizations, right? Because large organizations, they already have a GRC program in place, and it's easier as a beginner to be able to come in there and learn from the processes they already have in place. Government agencies also likewise. Financial institutions, big banks like RBC, BMO, TD, healthcare organizations, technology companies. Of course, the technology companies, they have GRC processes in place. Consulting firms like even the Big Four, Deloitte, and e-commerce and online services, right? And I have a job description here for Deloitte. Okay, so right here we can see that this is an entry level. They're looking for like analysts, consultants, a new grad, and they're hiring from multiple locations. As you can see from the job description, they're not really asking for much. They just need somebody who can work in a collaborative team, develop policies, someone who can research, literally. So this is a great opportunity if you're a complete beginner. Take advantage of jumping into this role. So I thought it would be great to actually break down what it would look like in 120 days as a complete beginner to jump into GRC. So you could take a screenshot of this breakdown from day 1 to day 120 and do your best to implement this. And I promise you that you would grow and you would see a clear difference from where you currently are at today. So if you're a beginner, day 1 to day 3, you really want to focus on building your basics. I would definitely say that for the first 7 days, you just want to focus on, learning the basics, learning about cybersecurity frameworks like NIST, ISO, SOC 2, learning IT basics. And then from day 8 to 20, you want to dive deeper into cybersecurity. So looking at risk management basics, compliance foundations, introduction to security tools. And then day 21 to 45, you want to look at practical applications. So doing hands-on cybersecurity projects, doing hands-on risk assessments and compliance audits, getting GRC knowledge and certification preparation. So days 46 to 75, then you want to look into certification, pursuing a cybersecurity certification. Day 76 to 90, you want to look at networking within the field, getting to know people, attending cybersecurity communities, whether locally or globally, online, LinkedIn groups for GRC. And then day 91 to 120, you want to dive deep into your job search, build a very good resume. And day 20, you could get your job offer and start a job in the field. So what are some resources? We've talked a lot about building a community, getting hands-on practical skills. What are some resources you could use to build your GRC experience, join a GRC community? So some of those are Compliance Week, GRC Blue Book, Careers Info Security. LinkedIn is also a great place to meet other GRC professionals. And Simply Cyber also has a great training for GRC beginners. Compliance Week. This could help you stay in touch with what's happening in GRC. Careers Info Security, another resource to help you stay up with what's happening in cybersecurity GRC. These are amazing resources that you should definitely take advantage of. And then Simply Cyber. This one is going to help you get hands-on practical experience on GRC, how to do risk assessments, how to conduct security awareness training, how to write policies. And then, okay, can I become, so these are some questions that I get. It's like, can I become a GRC specialist through online education? You definitely can. I became a GRC specialist through online education. Okay, I self-learned, did everything myself, took a certification, passed. So you definitely can learn online. What are some resources to learn skills to become an information security GRC? So I would definitely say SANS Institute, they have some free resources. They also have research papers, OWAPs, also Simply Cyber, which I just mentioned, also is another great resource. What is work-life balance of an information security specialist? This honestly would depend on the industry you're in. So if you're in consulting, obviously consulting, there's a lot of hours, a lot of work hours. Okay, so there you have it. I know I've given you so much information, but I just felt like this information is all very relevant and needed. And like I said, you can use those timestamps to get to where you want in the video. Well, thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video, comment. Let me know what other videos you want to see or how this video helped you. And if you subscribe, comment below and let me know that you subscribe. Comment, I have subscribed, so I can give you a big virtual hug and welcome you to the Cybersec GRC family. Also, I'm going to leave you with one assignment, is to really take the 120 days into cybersecurity this breakdown that I drew up, take it very seriously and see if it works for you. And if it works for you, don't forget to come back and say thank you. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
On a mission to help 1 million people into cybersecurity.